Good evening, Africa. Good evening, African Confessions. I am back with another message. The message that you're going to be listening to comes from a translation of a message that I received. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi. I want to confess to you and I want to confess to the whole world that as for now, I'm having sexual intercourse with 4 different men. And all of these men, they are dead people. We did a money-making ritual with my husband. My brother, my story is like this. I don't have anyone that I can share with my problem. I thought that maybe I would be sharing this problem with my husband. But ever since we did these rituals, my husband has deserted me. My brother, what happened is that it was in 2008 and things were not good for me and my husband. We were so much deep into poverty. Me and my husband, we only had one child. Even though we had only one child, but still for that child, we would even fail to provide the basic necessities that was needed by that child. So many nights that me, my husband, and our child, we would go to bed hungry, not knowing where we were going to get our next meal. When month end would come around, it was a headache for us because my husband was not working. I was not working. Me and my husband, we were just surviving. We were not living, we were just surviving. But with all the poverty and everything that was happening in our lives, not even a single day did I ever thought of cheating on my husband because I loved him so much. Not even a single day did I ever thought of dumping him. I made sure that I played my duties as a woman who loved her husband. Life was so tough. And finally, we got an opportunity, and the opportunity that we got, we thought that maybe our lives were going to change. We went to South Africa, but we found work on a certain farm. On that farm, life was not easy. We were working like animals on that farm, but still, we managed to raise some money. We came back to Zimbabwe with the money that we had raised in South Africa. Then we thought of starting a new business, but it was just a bad business plan. We sold our fish, but our business never went anywhere. We were stuck again. Then my husband came one day and he told me that he had heard great news. There was this Sangoma, and this Sangoma was going to change our lives. He told me that a lot of people were being helped by that Sangoma. So with the situation that I was facing, the situation that we had traveled all the way to South Africa, we had worked so hard, and when we came back to Zimbabwe, the business plan had failed us. I just agreed to these rituals that my husband had told me that if we could only do these rituals, we would be rich. We went to that Sangoma. So this Sangoma was staying in a mountain. But getting to that Sangoma's house was not easy because his house was surrounded by a thick hedge of thorns. But finally, we managed to climb high into the mountain. But me and my husband, as we walked towards that Sangoma's house, a snake just came out of nowhere. Then it circled me and my husband 3 times. Then it went inside that Sangoma's house. That Sangoma, we never got the chance to see his face or what he looked like. He only spoke with us whilst he was inside his house. He spoke with us and he asked, "Who are you and what do you want?" We told him everything that we wanted, and he replied and he said, "I know that you want great wealth, but the question that I have for you is that, do you want to be rich through blood rituals, or do you want to sacrifice your own flesh so that you can be rich?" When the Sangoma asked us this question, we told him that we had to decide first. So me and my husband, we went aside, then we started to debate. My husband wanted us to do a blood ritual, but as for me, I was afraid that my husband will end up sacrificing my own child. So I gave my husband an option. I told my husband that it is better that we sacrifice and do a ritual using my own womb. Since me and you, we have already been given this child. At least we can only have this child. Then I will sacrifice my own womb. Then we went back and we spoke with that Sangoma. We told him everything that we had decided, but he refused. He said that my womb was dirty because it had carried a child before. He told that you can only sacrifice your womb if you have never given birth. So he refused. Again, me and my husband, we were stuck. But that Sangoma felt pity for us and he said, "Worry not, my children. There is something that I can give you. This thing that I am going to give you, you are going to use it for the rituals that I want you to perform. There is going to be death in your family. And when you are going to hear news of this death, I don't want you to go back to the village to attend that funeral. There is going to be a car and I don't want you to get inside of that car because along the road that leads back to your village, there is going to be an accident. I am going to send my own boys, the small boys, these 4 boys are going to be on those cars so that they can cause an accident." He told us that when we hear the news of this death, we should come back to him and we should sleep at his place. Within a week, as he had told us that in our family there was going to be death, for sure we received news that there was death in the family and we were supposed to travel back to our village. Me and my husband and my other husband's relative, they were also staying in the city as we were doing. So we sat together, then we made preparations so that we can travel back to the village. It was some of my husband's brothers and some of my husband's sisters. But we saw that we didn't have the money that was needed because they had hired a car so that we can travel together. So there was money for fuel that was needed. But me and my husband, we didn't have the money. So we remained behind in the city. Later on, we received a sad phone call. We were told that my husband brothers and my husband sisters, they had been involved in a car accident and 4 people had died on the spot. The only people who had survived, it was my husband's sisters, but the rest of them had died on the spot. When we heard this news, we packed our bags, then we went back to that mountain where that Sangoma was staying. When we went there, the Sangoma then told me that I had to remove all of my clothes. He directed me into a room where she told me that I was supposed to sleep in that room the whole night naked. My husband was also given an instruction. He was directed into another room. In that room, he was supposed to sit the whole night. He was supposed to sit cross-legged as he would be clapping his hands quietly and also chanting quietly. And I was in the other room. It was somewhere around midnight. I saw that there were men that were entering the room that I was in. When I saw those men, I saw that it was my husband's brothers, those ones that had died in the accident. The 4 of them, they removed all of their clothes. Then they started having sexual intercourse with me. My brother, the whole night, they had sexual intercourse with me. Just before sunrise, they rose up, then they left the room. When we returned back home, I saw that there was so much money in the room that we were renting in the city. Then we went back to the village. So when we went back to the village, that Sangoma had given us some powder. He had given my husband that powder. He then instructed my husband saying that when you arrive in the village, what you are supposed to do is that go to that place where they'll be digging up the graves, preparing for the burial of your brothers. Then you should sprinkle some of this powder in those graves, but make sure that no one will see you. When we arrived in the village, that is what my husband did. He went to the place where they were busy digging up the graves, and he made sure that he sprinkled that powder that we had been given by that Sangoma. He sprinkled that powder into each and every grave where his brothers were going to be buried. So when we went to the village, we had found out that in the house that we were renting in the city, there was so much money in that house that we were renting. The money was around 3,000 US. Because we had so much money, we hired a car because we wanted to travel in style. But there was something that happened during the funeral. It was at night, everyone was sleeping. But all of a sudden, I saw that I was now in the bushes. And my husband's brothers, those ones that had passed away in that car accident, they came out of nowhere. Then they started having sexual intercourse with me. After that, I saw myself that I was back in the same place where everyone was. When we went back home, we saw that there was more money. We started counting that money. The whole night we tried to count that money, but we couldn't finish counting that money. My brother, I never knew that you can actually buy a house for cash in one day. That is what me and my husband did. We just took some money, then we went and we bought a new house. People were surprised because everyone who knew us, everyone knew that we were just poor. There was no hope for us in life. But overnight, me and my husband, we were now filthy rich. My brother Nashi, now what is happening to me is that I am having sexual intercourse with my husband's dead brothers, those ones that died in the accident. They come to me each and every day, the four of them. They come, they exchange me throughout the night. They don't give me rest at all. Now I can't even have sexual intercourse with my own husband, because what happens is that whenever my husband tries to have sexual intercourse with me, his dead brothers, they walk into the room, then they will start to fight with him. My husband once told me that after me and his dead brothers would have finished having sexual intercourse, he told me that I speak with these dead people throughout the night. When my husband saw that this was what was happening, he then went ahead, then he took another wife. I asked him, "Why do you want to take another woman?" He told me that, "What do you want me to do? Because I am tired." Because all along, my husband had been masturbating whenever he saw that he could not have sexual intercourse with me. He would just masturbate until he falls asleep. He told me that I am so tired of masturbating each and every night, yet I am married. So he told me that he was going to find another woman. The other problem that I am having, my brother, is that I smell so much. I do bath, but down there is a lot of discharge that comes out of me, and that discharge is so smelly. I have tried to go to different pharmacies and I have tried to buy a lot of medication, but it is not working. I smell so much that my husband complains. When I asked him, I told him that, "Isn't it that you and me, we both knew what we were getting ourselves into? We did this ritual together." But he told me that I am tired. I just want to have sexual intercourse with a real woman, not masturbating each and every night. So me and my husband, we had an argument. Then he went out of the house. I had news that my husband had bought another house and now he is staying with another woman. It pains me so much because each and every night his dead brothers, they keep coming to me, and each and every night they exchange me, they have sexual intercourse with me throughout the night. I am tired, my brother. I don't want this money anymore. Now, my private parts, they are always itchy. I have used different types of medication, but my private parts are so itchy. I don't want this money anymore, my brother. I don't know what am I supposed to do. Sometimes I tell myself that I am going to tell his relatives, I am going to confess to them what we did. The reason why I want to confess, because I am the one who is suffering. The reason why I want to confess, it is because I am the one who is suffering. My husband is supposed to be here with me, but he just dumped me. Now he is enjoying with another woman, but whenever night time comes around, his dead brothers, they will be waiting for me to have sexual intercourse with me. My brother, this is my own story. Dear listeners, that was a message that I received. Strange things do happen in this world. Let's meet again in the following episode.